Welcome to r/mi the butthole, where we dive deep into stories that leave people wondering if they were right or wrong in their toughest moments. Today's post is about betrayal, trust, and the hard decision to expose a cheater. It's a story that's raw, personal, and filled with the kind of suspense that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Our original poster, let's call her Sarah, suspected her boyfriend of cheating for weeks. At first, she wasn't sure if it was just paranoia or gut feeling, but soon, her doubts became painful reality. Sarah had to face a choice: keep quiet and protect her relationship, or reveal the truth, no matter the fallout. This story explores that choice and the emotional storm that followed. Sarah's not only wrestling with heartbreak, but also with the consequences of her decision to go public with what she discovered. So, is she the butthole for exposing the truth? Or is she a victim fighting back? Let's find out. Sarah and her boyfriend, Mike, had been together for almost 3 years. They met in college, started dating shortly after, and built what seemed like a solid relationship. For the first 2 years, everything felt perfect. Loving texts, weekend getaways, meeting friends and family. Mike seemed like the guy Sarah could trust and imagine a future with. But about 6 months ago, things started to change. Mike became distant, often texting late into the night but guarding his phone whenever Sarah was around. He'd cancel plans last minute and seemed distracted even when they were together. Sarah tried not to jump to conclusions. She told herself maybe he was stressed from work or dealing with family issues. But deep down, a nagging feeling told her something was off. It wasn't just the behavior, it was the little things. Mike's hesitation when she asked simple questions. The way he'd sometimes smile nervously when she caught him staring at his phone, or his sudden defensiveness. The trust that had once been so strong was slowly cracking. Sarah spent weeks wrestling with confusion and doubt. Should she confront him directly? Should she try to ignore it? The more she thought about it, the more anxious she became. She found herself checking his social media profiles obsessively, looking for clues, and trying to piece together what was happening. Her friends noticed her mood shift and warned her to be careful, but Sarah was too wrapped up in her own worries. Emotionally, Sarah was on a roller coaster. Some days she felt hopeful, convincing herself Mike was just going through a tough patch. Other days, her gut twisted with suspicion and fear that he was hiding something worse. She didn't want to believe it. No one wants to think their partner could be cheating. That fear and uncertainty took a toll on her. Sarah struggled to focus at work and found herself withdrawing from friends. But she couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to know the truth, no matter how painful it might be. The emotional dilemma of whether to trust Mike or dig deeper was tearing her apart. Finally, after one too many late-night excuses and secretive behavior, Sarah decided she couldn't live in doubt anymore. She needed answers, even if it meant facing the worst. The moment Sarah caught Mike cheating was something she never imagined she'd experience. It happened late one Friday evening, just when she thought things might be getting better between them. Sarah had stayed late at work and was planning to surprise Mike with dinner. But when she got home, the front door was unlocked and lights were dim. Curious and a little uneasy, Sarah stepped inside quietly. Then she heard voices, soft, whispered, but unmistakable. She followed the sound to the living room, where she saw Mike with another woman. They were close, laughing and holding hands, completely unaware that Sarah was standing just feet away. It wasn't just a casual moment. It was clearly something secretive and intimate. Her heart stopped. The shock hit her like a wave, freezing her in place. She felt disbelief, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal all at once. For a moment, she wanted to run away, pretend she hadn't seen anything, but the pain was too deep to ignore. When Mike noticed her standing there, his face drained of color. He stammered, trying to explain, but the lies poured out like water. He denied it at first, said she was just a friend, that Sarah was misunderstanding the situation. But his nervousness gave him away. Sarah wasn't satisfied with words. She pulled out her phone and began gathering proof. Screenshots of suspicious messages she'd seen earlier, text conversations that confirmed the woman wasn't just a friend, and even photos of the two together from the night before on social media. She reached out to a mutual friend who confirmed they'd seen Mike with this woman at a local bar. Every new piece of evidence cut deeper. Mike's denials crumbled under the weight of undeniable proof. Sarah felt the full weight of heartbreak, but also a strange sense of clarity. She finally knew the truth. After the initial shock, Sarah faced a difficult choice. Should she keep this betrayal private, handle it quietly, and move on? Or should she expose Mike's cheating publicly, warn others, and make sure he faced consequences? The risks were real. Posting the truth online could bring drama, public judgment, and personal backlash. It might hurt Mike's reputation, and some might call Sarah petty or cruel. There was also the fear of how friends and family would react. Would they side with Mike or with her? But the frustration inside her was too strong. Sarah felt like she had been living in a lie for months. Mike had taken her trust for granted and treated her like she didn't matter. She wanted justice, not just for herself, but for anyone who might fall victim to his deceit in the future. After days of weighing her options, Sarah decided to share her story on r/Am I the Butthole. She carefully framed her post to be honest but measured, focusing on the facts and her feelings without resorting to insults or anger. She wanted the community to understand her pain and dilemma. In her post, Sarah explained how she caught Mike cheating, shared the evidence she had, and described her emotional struggle leading up to the moment. She asked for advice and judgment. Was she the butthole for exposing him publicly, or was she justified? The post was suspenseful, personal, and raw. Sarah didn't hold back the hurt, but she also didn't seek revenge. She wanted to know if she had done the right thing by choosing honesty over silence. The moment Sarah's post went live, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Mike was furious. At first, he denied everything, accusing Sarah of fabricating the whole story just to ruin him. He messaged mutual friends, trying to paint himself as the victim, claiming Sarah was unstable and jealous. His anger spilled over in private texts, blaming Sarah for humiliating him. But not everyone believed Mike. Friends and family quickly split into two camps. Some stood firmly by Sarah, expressing support and outrage at Mike's betrayal. Others hesitated, unsure who to believe, or sided with Mike out of loyalty or disbelief. A few even criticized Sarah for airing dirty laundry in public, saying she should have kept the issue private. Sarah was caught in the middle of a storm. Online, comments poured in, some kind and empathetic, others harsh and judgmental. Offline, the tension was even worse. Conversations with friends became awkward, some people avoiding her, while others reached out with sympathy. The drama escalated quickly. Mike confronted Sarah at work one day, demanding she take down the post and stop spreading lies. The confrontation was tense, leaving Sarah shaken but more determined than ever. She refused to back down. Behind the scenes, Sarah also faced threats from strangers who stumbled upon her story online. Her phone buzzed constantly with both messages of encouragement and hostility. The weight of public exposure was heavier than she expected. Despite the chaos, Sarah clung to one truth. She did not deserve to be lied to or treated like she was invisible. The tension grew, with every new message or conversation raising the stakes. Sarah's life felt like a powder keg ready to explode, but she knew this was a necessary step. In the weeks following the post, Sarah's emotional world became a roller coaster. The initial relief of finally telling her truth was quickly replaced by waves of loneliness and regret. She missed the life she had imagined with Mike, but knew she could never go back. Friends and family were divided, and some relationships started to crack. A few close friends became distant, uncomfortable with the public drama. Others rallied around her, becoming her rock during the hardest moments. Sarah realized who truly cared and who had been distant all along. The fallout also reached unexpected places. At work, gossip began circulating, making Sarah feel exposed and vulnerable in an environment where she once felt safe. Some colleagues were supportive, but others whispered behind her back. She worried about her professional reputation, wondering if the personal drama would affect her future. Even her personal safety felt threatened at times. After a few anonymous, unsettling messages, Sarah changed her online privacy settings and took extra precautions. The experience showed her how quickly a personal crisis could spiral beyond her control. Through it all, Sarah reflected deeply on trust and betrayal. She learned that trust is fragile and must be earned every day, not assumed. She recognized her own strength in facing betrayal head-on, even when it hurt more than she expected. Despite everything, Sarah felt a growing sense of empowerment. She was no longer silent or afraid. Her story was her own, and she was reclaiming her voice, one painful step at a time. After Sarah's story went public, the flood of responses was overwhelming. Online, the community rallied around her with heartfelt advice and shared experiences. Many praised her bravery for exposing the truth, reminding her she wasn't alone in facing betrayal. They encouraged her to keep standing strong and to prioritize her own healing. Yet, not everyone was supportive. Some commenters criticized Sarah for going public, arguing that airing private matters online could cause more harm than good. They warned that such exposure could damage reputations irreparably and suggested she should have handled things privately, through direct conversations or counseling. Some even accused her of seeking attention or being too harsh on Mike. In her social circle, friends and acquaintances were just as divided. A few close friends said they admired her honesty and felt her actions were justified. Others felt uncomfortable with the drama spilling over into public view, telling her she should have kept the issue behind closed doors. Family members were split too. Some stood firmly with her, while others urged forgiveness and caution. These mixed reactions stirred up a whirlwind of emotions in Sarah. On one hand, the support online gave her strength and validation. On the other, the criticism planted seeds of doubt, making her question if she'd made the right choice. The pressure from both sides made her feel vulnerable and unsure of how to move forward. Ultimately, Sarah realized she had to trust her own judgment and feelings above all else. She decided that exposing the cheating was a necessary step for her healing, regardless of the backlash. It was messy, painful, and complicated, but it was her truth, and she was ready to live it. Not long after the post went viral, Mike reached out. His messages were a mix of apologies and attempts to explain his actions. He claimed he made mistakes, but promised he wanted to fix things. He asked Sarah to meet and talk face to face, hoping to reconcile. Sarah was torn. Part of her longed for the relationship she once had, hoping things could be salvaged. But the hurt ran deep, and the public exposure had created a chasm between them that felt impossible to cross. When they finally met, Mike's apology felt hollow, more about saving his reputation than genuine remorse. He tried to deflect blame and minimize his betrayal. Sarah listened, but her resolve hardened. She knew forgiving him wouldn't erase the pain or the betrayal. The question hung heavy. Should she give him a second chance or cut ties completely? The suspense was real. Her heart wanted closure, but her mind demanded self-respect. In the end, Sarah chose to protect herself, deciding that moving on was the only way to reclaim her peace. After weeks of reflection and emotional ups and downs, Sarah made her final decision. She chose to end the relationship for good. The betrayal had broken the foundation of trust, and no apology or explanation could rebuild what was lost. Sarah realized she deserved better, someone who valued honesty and respect. She decided to keep the post public. It wasn't about revenge, but about owning her story and warning others. Deleting it felt like erasing the pain and the lessons she'd fought hard to learn. Instead, she embraced the vulnerability, hoping her experience might help others trapped in similar situations. Through this journey, Sarah learned the importance of trusting her instincts and standing up for herself. She recognized that healing isn't linear, and that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most growth. Her advice to anyone dealing with cheating: don't ignore your gut feelings. Protect your peace, be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid to seek support. Exposure isn't about shame, it's about clarity and reclaiming your power. Sarah's story is one of heartbreak, courage, and self-discovery. She faced betrayal head-on, chose truth over silence, and reclaimed her life on her own terms. Now, she turns to you, the Reddit community. Am I the butthole for exposing my cheating boyfriend? She invites you to share your thoughts, judgments, and advice. Was she right to go public, or should she have handled it differently? Your verdict matters to her as she navigates this difficult chapter. Let's hear what you think.
That wraps up today's episode of r/Payback. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories.